Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining, or if you're just joining, I'll give you a little bit of time to settle. It's another Thursday at 2:30 p.m. and I say it probably every week, but these weeks just fly by, and we're kind of on that final kind of descent into Christmas. So if you are joining today, then congratulations, because every time you make it onto your mat, it's always a victory. And I always say that as well, but I genuinely mean that. You could be doing lots of other things. So if you're joining live, then great. And if you're here on catch up, then that's equally as good, because you've committed your time to get onto your mat. And there's always a little bit of preamble in these classes. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about the run up to Christmas and how it can get a little bit busy for people, and things like yoga can sometimes slip. We go, you know what, January is going to come and I'll do it all in January, because that's a good time to start a new exercise regime, as it were. And I'm more of the kind of like regular, steady practice. And I think we sometimes, human behavior, it's like, you know what, I don't want to do it now. And I get that. I get that we're busy, and probably yoga and other forms of exercise is not our priority right now. But it can really help us get through these tricky times, navigate these choppy waters. A few more restrictions coming into place. And also, navigating familiar patterns. Getting together with your family is probably quite hard. I know for me that has been difficult in the past. So having that yoga practice to fall back on, and just to ground yourself and center yourself, can be really, really nourishing. And we think about yoga, remember, as the calming of the fluctuations of the mind. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I get onto the yoga mat and I'm going to do all these crazy postures and I'm going to do this practice for 1 hour. It doesn't have to be like that. I heard this thing once, and this really does help. You just roll your mat out and lie on your mat. That's a yoga practice, because what you're doing is you're coming back to your center, you're connecting with yourself. So you don't have to do a full hour. Just roll your mat out and lie down and just breathe and listen to the breath. 3 long, deep inhales and 3 long, deep exhales can totally change the way that you feel. So when you feel overwhelmed, when you're feeling stressed, this yoga, and the beautiful byproduct of yoga is that we get to move the body. That's amazing, right? Because not only are we just dropping deeper, we're getting out of here and we're getting to our heart space. We kind of like connect on a spiritual level. And if you're a little bit like, oh, spiritual, I'm not sure about spiritual, then just think of spirituality as kind of like a deeper connection, as about wellness, physical and mental wellness. But then the byproduct of all of that is we do these asanas, and the asanas are just the physical postures. So we get to move the body and we get stronger and we get more flexible. But it's probably not the most important thing about yoga. You look at it on Instagram and Facebook and in magazines, and Western yoga, there's just this kind of like vision of it, which is like, you know what, that's not for me. I'm not going to do that, Dave, because I don't have that body, or I'm too old, or I'm this, or I'm that. And we give ourselves all of these ideas why we shouldn't do something. But everybody's worthy to do yoga. Everybody meets their body where it is, and we meet our body with love, and we meet our body with compassion. But a regular, steady yoga practice, oh my God, it can be really powerful. It can be really powerful. So this probably sounds like a yoga sales pitch. This man's a little bit crazy. It's just because I'm passionate about it, and I know how therapeutic and how it anchors me. And it's probably not going to solve all of my problems in my life, but I know that I can come back to myself, I can come back to my mat and my practice, and I can just kind of like step out of it and then come back to here. And you know what? The beautiful thing is, that's exciting, because you create it all yourself. No one else is doing it for you. No one else is going to do it for you. I'd like to do some yoga, Dave, but can you do it for me? That doesn't work. You need to commit to it, and you need to do it. So well done for making it this far. A good afternoon to Sue and to Debs and to Sheena. It's really nice for you to comment. So I'm going to move my camera, find a comfortable seat. You probably have done that already. Let's see how this looks. I'm just going to go back here. This should be okay. All right. Whoa, it's like suddenly I got a long way away from you. All right, find a comfortable seat. Remember, with this part of the class, if you want to sit up against something, in fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to sit up against my radiator. And, you know, you can have the legs crossed. If this doesn't feel good for you, you know, you can bring the legs out. So this can be good. You know, and remember, you can sit on a bolster. You can sit on a block, on a blanket, on a cushion, whatever feels good. And if you are just sitting up straight and not against the wall, then find that length in the spine. If you are sitting against a wall this afternoon, then just feel the spine lengthen against the wall. And what a lot of us do is when we sit habitually, because we look at a lot of screens and we're on our phones a lot of the time, our kind of neck goes like this. So we don't have that length in the back of the neck. And then we start to cause these kind of like chronic issues in the back of the neck. It gets tight, we get tight around the jaw. And, you know, then we're always trying to kind of work out this tension from the shoulders. So this is kind of the position where we want to sit, where the chin just tucks in, just very gently. But hey, if you sat against a wall, you can do that because you can just bring the back of the head against the radiator, you know? So let's just sit here just for a moment, wherever you are, against the wall, or you're just sitting up straight in Sukhasana, easy pose. Find somewhere comfortable for the hands. And then if it feels good for you, just gently close the eyes. And then from here, just simply breathe. And if you can, just breathing in and out through the nose. And see right from the off here, if you can just find that long, deep breath. So those deep, rich inhales through the nose. Maybe a slight pause at the top and then full exhale through the nose. And already we begin to just get out of our heads and we get into our heart space. We calm the central nervous system. We're working on, you know, if we're feeling any anxiety or tension, we begin to release. You've got nothing else to do, not right now. You've committed to this practice. And if the mind's still a little bit active, just bring it back to the breath. And feel your beautiful, loyal heart just beating away here. And find yourself here just sitting and breathing with loads of compassion, loads of love. And think about, you know, the times where we're probably a little bit unkind to ourselves, how we're critical about ourselves. And then just reflect, you know, would you be like that to other people? Would you be that critical to your friends or family members? Know that we have a choice here. And it's that idea of being kind to ourselves first and foremost. Because if we can't be truly kind to ourselves, then we can't pay kindness forward. There's always a level of, I guess, toxicity or meanness. And it takes time. But as long as we just keep with those little affirmations, I am love, that can be one. I treat my body with love and respect. I look in the mirror, I love what I see, all of these kind of things. And you might not believe it, you'll be like, hey, you know what, I don't believe that stuff. But if you just keep saying it, the subconscious mind, it eats it up and you will begin to believe it because, do you know what? It's true. We're all worthy. We're all worthy of love. Nice. And then just take a couple more complete rounds. And then when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, just come with the eyes open. Really gently, slowly. Nice, everyone. Really nice. All right, if you're chilling out against the wall like I am, then just remove yourself from against the wall and then bring the feet out. We do this a lot. Bring the feet about hip width apart. Lean back into the hands, spread out through the fingers, and then just drop the legs from side to side. Just nice and slowly. We'll probably go slowly today. I mean, we'll do a few sun salutations and we'll probably work through a couple of variations. But at the start, let's just slowly move into the physical body. So this is the asana. This is the physical movement. So we treat ourselves with love and respect and kindness, and we treat our body with love and respect and kindness. So at any point in the practice today, you find yourself straining, things don't feel right, just back out. And no one's watching, no one's looking. And the beautiful thing about yoga is that, you know, we all come into our own individual expression of each posture. There's no right and wrong as long as you're not hurting yourself. That's really empowering. There's no right and wrong. Yeah, you get some yoga teachers who work on form and alignment, and that's great. But sometimes it's just about feeling the movement of the body and not worrying what it looks like too much, as long as there's no pain. Nice. Slowly bring the legs back to center and then recross the legs. See if you can remember which shin was in front. I'm just going to move forward just a little bit. Nice. All right, bring the hands onto the knees. And then you're going to inhale the chest forward, and then you're going to exhale round. You're going to inhale forward and then exhale round. And just get into this nice steady rhythm. Inhaling and exhaling as you go. Think about the hands. You know, if I lifted my hands off, I'm still finding that rotation. So the hands don't really guide you. They just rest. And then all the movement comes from here. That's your navel center. This is our point of personal will. See if you can match the movement with the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale forward and then exhale round. So nice little workout into the core and get to massage like the liver, the internal organs of the stomach. So really good for detoxifying, really good for just moving the energy around the body. Nice. And then come back the other way, nice and slowly. Inhale forward, exhale round. Inhale forward and exhale round. Nice. So I refer to some of these postures as plain old yoga. Plain old yoga, it's all good. Simple movements, energizing the body. Slowly working on the strength and the flexibility. There's that idea that to change our minds, we've got to change the energy in the body. That's funny, isn't it? You think, okay, how do I change the way that I feel? Well, I change the energy in the body, raise those endorphins, that natural high. We don't need to go and grab anything. Nothing outside of us. We're creating this all from inside. It's not about what you look like. It's not about what you can buy. It's not about what you own. It's about what's inside. And it took me about 45 years to work it out. All right. Inhale, come back to center. Pause the breath. Hold it and then hold the breath. Pull the belly up and in. So you squeeze the belly in. Squeeze it back towards the spine. Think about the length in the back of the neck, how we started the class. And then exhale, let it go. Beautiful. Bring the hands onto the front shin and then we'll just move through the spine. So remember we did this in back care week. So you inhale the chest forward and then you exhale round. Inhale forward, exhale round. Little movement. It's not a big one. Just go at a pace that feels good. You might be faster. You might be slower than me. Nice, powerful breath. As you inhale forward, the heart center lifts, the spine lean on gates. As you exhale, you round into the spine and you tuck the belly back towards the spine itself, with the navel tucked back. It's not a big movement. If we think about the pelvis, it rocks backwards, it rocks forwards. It's this kind of movement. Head stays still. Feel free to speed it up. If the eyes are closed, focus in between the eyebrows. So where the focus is, it's where the energy is going to rise. So physically, very good to move the lumbar spine in this way. Energetically, fantastic to move the energy right up to the crown of the head. Nice. Inhale, come forward, lengthen the spine, lift the heart center. See if you can pause the breath here again at the top. And exhale, let it go. Nice. From here, nice simple twist. So inhale, sweep the arms up. And then let's just do this for a couple of rounds because it feels good. Exhale, bring the hands down. So match that movement with breath. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Just keep flowing like this. Inhale up. Fingertips come together. Exhale down. Fingertips just touch the floor. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This final one. Inhale up. And then exhale, just bring the hands in prayer position and Jali Mudra all the way through the heart center. And then just rest the hands at heart center. Maybe close the eyes and then just check in. See what you're noticing. Notice the effects of your practice. And then this time, inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, left hand to the right knee, right hand behind, maybe press into the fingertips or the palm of the hand, just so you've got length in the spine. So this is where we start on an inhale. And then as you exhale, twisting over to the right. Inhaling. And exhaling. Nice deep inhale. And a full exhale. 2 more like that. Deep inhale. Full exhale. 1 more. Deep inhale. And a full exhale. Nice. Inhale, sweep the arms back up. And then exhale to the other side. So right hand, left knee, or inside of the left thigh. You don't have to be on the knee. Press into the fingertips on the left arm, right behind you. Inhale to find length, and then exhale into your twist. No need to move too far. Inhaling, finding length. Exhale into your twist. See if you can roll that left shoulder blade back. You find the movement again, it's at the navel center, but you're also twisting the mid and the upper spine. Nice deep inhale. Full exhale. Work with the breath. 1 more like that. Deep inhale. And a full exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep the arms up, find some length. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down, just out in front of you. And then maybe just rock around a little bit here to keep the heart center lifted. So think about that tilt in the pelvis. Got ahead of myself there. Think about the tilt in the pelvis. Be aware of the lumbar spine. Breathe into that back space. And you might want to stay here. This might be good. You might want to walk the hands forward a little bit more. You might want to bring the forearms down onto the floor and then just let the head be loose. But be aware of how the lumbar spine feels. Make sure there's no strain. And then let all of the energy just melt down to the floor. Nice. And then slowly walk the hands back towards the feet. And then when you're ready, just uncross the legs. Maybe give the legs a little bit of a shake out. I know when I sit here for too long, the legs kind of go a little bit deed. So Just shake them out and pad them up and down. Maybe give the toes a little wiggle, roll out through the ankles, and then come back to a seated position. Have a little move around, make sure you're comfortable on your sit bones. And then we're just going to move into the neck. So find somewhere comfortable for the head. And then we're going to rotate the head in one direction. And you might start really small. Eyes can be closed, or the gaze is very, very soft. And you're just inhaling and exhaling as we go. Yeah. Sorry, I'm yawning a bit there. And maybe the circles get a little bit bigger. You can speed them up, but there isn't any requirement to do any of that stuff. You might keep them small. Breathe into any areas of tension. Shouldn't be any strain here. And then just make the circles a little bit smaller. Imagine that the head is just coming into dock. Get smaller and smaller. And then bring the head back to center. And then just start the other way. Again, maybe start really small. And then you can make movements a little bit bigger if that feels good. But you might stay small. Simple neck circles. Just be aware if you hold tension in the neck, you might feel it in the shoulders, you might feel it in the jaw. Breathe into it. We don't just use the breath to energize or calm the body, we use the breath to open the body as well. Nice. Bring the head all the way back to center. And then a full exhale. Nice. And then if the eyes are closed, just come with the eyes open. Beautiful, everyone. All right, I'm just going to move my mat forward a slight bit here. So we're going to come onto all fours. And when we get here on all fours, we're going to move from cat and cow. So we kind of just did that in an informal way. Move this out. When we were in that seated position. So now we kind of come into cat cow. It's more traditional, spread out through the fingers, and then the knees are about hip width apart. And then let's just do this. Tap the feet into the floor, maybe press into the toes. Tap the feet into the floor, press into the toes. Spread out through the fingers. Remember, that's a really beautiful habit to get into. And then if you feel too much tension in the wrist, just have the arms so you get this little angle in the wrist. They're all stacked right above. Sometimes we feel it too much right in the wrist joint. So you can always come back just a little bit. So adapt to the postures that feel good for you. Anything going on in the knees, place a blanket underneath the knees. All right, so take an inhale, drop the belly down, lift the head and the heart. And then you exhale, you're round. So as you inhale, this is your cow. Belly's dropped, head and the heart lifts, shoulders are engaged, and then exhale, you separate the shoulders, and then you bring the navel back towards the spine. And you see this big round into the spine. This is your cat, angry cat. Inhale forward, exhale round. Work with the breath, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You're just moving at a rhythm that feels good for you. I like to go quite quickly on cat-cow. I just like to get into the rhythm of my breath. But if you move in slower, see if you can slow the breath right down. Three more. Beautiful deep inhale, come back to center. And then a full exhale. Just separate the knees, bring the big toes together and come into child's pose. For the first time I come into child's pose, I like to do this. See if you can bring the sit bones back onto the heels. So you bring them back onto the heels. You might not get there, you might be here, that's okay. And then walk the hands forward and then just let the head drop. And then if you wanted to stack the head on the hands, so you can be here or on the arms or on fists, feel free. And then just breathe, melt the heart center down towards the floor. Breathe deeply here. Beautiful, nice. And then from here, just press yourself back to a tabletop position. We're going to come into a melting heart pose. So have a look at your knees, about hip width apart again, and make sure you've got this angle. So you don't want to come forward where the legs drop, and you don't want to come back. So you want this straight line between the knees and the hips. And then once you find that, just walk the hands forward. And then you're just going to melt the heart down towards the floor. So whatever feels good for you. I like to come onto my forehead. I don't want to make it too strong. Some people come onto the chin. Some people's hearts will be melted further down. Have a quick look at your knees. And then if you really feel too much sensation in the shoulders, just do this. Walk the arms really wide. So it's really a shoulder stretch, but you also get into the back as well. So breathe right from the back of the neck all the way down into your tailbone, your coccyx, and then breathe in between the shoulder blades. See if you can melt the heart center down. Feel this beautiful opening. You might not say it feels beautiful, you might feel really tight here. So remember, send the breath where it's needed. See if you can open any areas of the body with the breath. Send that intention right in between the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Take 2 more complete rounds of breath. And then very, very gently, just begin to flatten the palms down onto the floor. So the forearms are down on the floor. And then step 1 foot back, and then the other. And then come to lie down on the belly. Come into Sphinx pose. So now we get into the lumbar spine. Nice. I like to separate my feet quite wide. You might go narrower, press the tops of the feet into the floor. And then look at your fingertips and see if you can claw into the fingers. And then as you imagine pulling the arms back, I mean, you do, you kind of like bring that intention into the fingers, claw the fingers back towards the chest, and then the head and the chest lifts. And you're looking for this little compression into the lower spine. And then breathe deeply here. Any tension in the neck, you can always let the head come down. You can always do this, you know, you can rest the head in the hands as long as you're feeling it in the spine. And we're just looking for our edge here. Play your edges. This is what we hear in yin yoga, which is a more relaxed style of yoga where we hold the postures longer. So we're not looking for too much and we're not looking for too little. So we're bringing that appropriate amount of stress into the spine. You want to feel something, but any sharp or electrical pains always sounds bad, doesn't it? Don't worry, or if you're not feeling that great, but if you feel anything where there's a feeling where you're like, oh, I'm not sure about that, back out. So you might walk the hands forward a little bit, or you might be here. Nice, everyone. All right, let's take 2 more rounds of breath together. Smile. Yoga does make me smile. And then stack the hands on top of each other. Wing the elbows out nice and wide, and then just look all the way over to the right. And then bring the right knee in line with the right hip. And then you just lying and looking to one side. This is my favorite style of yoga. Nice, and then swap it out. Come to the other side. Left leg in line, so left knee in line with the left hip, look to the left-hand side. You might feel that nice gentle massage into the right thigh. A little bit of weight comes into the right thigh. I certainly feel that, especially if you do a lot of cycling or running or walking. You might feel that tightness in the quads. Beautiful, nice. And then bring both legs back together. See if you can bring the hands right underneath the shoulders. We don't want to be here where the elbows spin out. We want to really tuck the shoulders in. Now, at this point, you can tuck the toes under so you can see my knees lift. You can either come up onto the knees, or if you're feeling really frisky, is that a wrong word, frisky? If you're feeling energetic, then push yourself up into this plank position. Nice. And then exhale, come into downward facing dog. Don't use the frisky word in yoga, it's not right. All right, bend into one knee, bend into the other. And that massage through the soles of the feet. Head is nice and loose. And like, if you're like me, you're a bit tighter here. You know, there's no way that I'm ever going to get my heels on the floor. Probably, but I'm too tight there. So I, just adapt. So I'm bending into my knees and I'm lengthening my spine. See how I do that? Now, if I go with straight legs, look at the bow in my lower spine. If I bend my knees, nice. You can do that kind of thing. Beautiful. Downward facing dog. Breathe in deeply. See if you can find the connection right at your navel center. See if you can draw the navel back towards the spine. So just tuck the belly in, and then the hips might lift a little bit higher. Nice. And then as you exhale, bring the knees all the way down onto the mat. Nice. And then come to sit on the heels. This is Thunderbolt Pose. And then just have the palms face forward. There's some great names for these poses. And then just breathe here. And this kind of arms just nice and relaxed. Palms are face up, shoulders are relaxed, eyes are closed if you can, or just soften the gaze. And then breathe deeply here. Beautiful. All right, let's come into a balance. So we'll come back onto all fours. And then we're going to balance this out. So you're going to inhale on the right leg back. So find that length all the way through the hip, engage into the hip itself, and then sweep the left arm forward. So right leg, left arm. Yeah. And then gaze down at the top edge of your mat. Feel this engagement. So you might want to stay here. You can always bend into the right knee, sweep the left arm behind. You just catch hold of the right foot. Nice. And then again, this is a really nice stretch into the quads. It challenges the balance. See if you can find that awareness at the navel center. It helps you balance, helps you stability, or just gaze down to the top of your mat. If you want to challenge it a bit more, you can look to the side and then look down the shoulder. Or you're just in the first position, or you've just got your leg out, or you're in child's pose. There's loads of options. One more deep inhale, and then a full exhale, bring everything down to the mat. And then just swap it out when you're ready. So left leg, right arm. Here we go. This is called Sunbird. Maybe stay here, and bend into the left knee, right arm behind, catch a hold of the foot, keep the foot into the hand. Breathe into the quads. Nice. And then slowly bring everything back down onto the mat. Split the knees nice and wide again, and then come into your child's pose. Bring the forehead down onto the floor, and then just let everything relax here. Forehead down onto the floor. Breathe in here. Nice deep, rich inhales, and then full exhales. Deep inhales, and full exhales. Nice. Beautiful. All right. From here, walk the hands back towards the knees, nice and slowly. Press into the palms, and then you're going to come and lie on your backs. That's all of the physical work has been done. All of it. You don't have to do anything else. There's one more pose. It's Shavasana. We've got about 10 minutes to go, and we're going to do a little bit of Yoga Nidra. So if you've not done Yoga Nidra before, it's also known as yogic sleep. I'm going to read through a script. Hopefully, my dulcet tones will help you relax completely. And we're just going to have this really nice relaxation. So commit to it. Get really comfortable. If you've got a blanket, please grab a blanket. Take your time to get that. put some socks on, put something warm on, and then, you know, turn off all your devices, shut the doors, don't let anyone disturb you for the next 10 minutes, because this hopefully will be really relaxing, and it could be the only time that you give yourself for the rest of the day just to totally let go. For the rest of the week, you never know. All right, okay, so find that comfortable position. I'm just going to check in with you guys. Nice. Lisa says, excellent. Well, I'm glad you're happy, Lisa. I'm going to sit up against my trusty radiator again on my bolster. This is my favorite style of yoga. Okay. So as you just rest here, as you settle into this final resting position, you know, make any necessary movements. And I like that idea of making yourself 10% more comfortable than you already are. So it might be something really, really small, like wiggling out through the fingers or the toes. The nice thing to do is to make fists, you know, really tight fists. So you squeeze the fists together, you bring tension into the body, and then you exhale through the mouth. And you release. And do that a couple more times. Make some fists, squeeze into the arms, squeeze into the legs, and exhale, let it go. One more like that. Squeeze into the fists. Exhale, let it go. And then just make any adjustments needed to let go completely. Here you are, relaxing. And then open your senses. So the ears to the sound, eyes to shadow or light across the eyelids. And then think about the weight of the body on the surface it's lying upon. Maybe on your mat, and then on a carpet, maybe on your floor. And then smell and taste. And that idea of all of your senses are open here, all of your senses. Feel the felt sense of your body. Breathe gently, flowing in and out. And then sense your mouth and your jaw. And notice any tension. Notice any tension you may be holding in your face. And then sensing your ears and your eyes. And feel any holding or tension behind the eyes. And then sense the whole head. And the back of the head and the neck. And your shoulders and your upper back. And then notice what's present. There's no need to change your experience, but be with it just as it is, you just as you are. And then your thoughts are probably coming and they're going, but your attention's just on the sensation in your beautiful body. And then bring the attention to the sensation in your left shoulder. Take an inhale and pause at the top of the inhale. And then exhale, sensing the entire left arm. And then as you exhale, sense that left arm and the hand. And it's the breath flowing out of the hand, out of the fingertips probably. And then at the top of the next inhale, bring the attention to your right shoulder. And then pause at the top of the inhale. And then exhale, sensing the entire right arm. And then the breath just flowing out through the fingers. Now inhale and bring the attention to both of your shoulders, right up through the chest into the upper back. And then at the top of the inhale, pause here. And then when you're ready to take that exhale, sense both arms and the hands. And then the exhale's flowing down the arms and out through the fingertips. You're just feeling the flow of the breath in both of your arms. That's just where your sensation is. No need to be anywhere else. Take a moment here. Just linger. Breathing out anything you don't need, any tension, any tightness. And then feel your torso and your chest and your back and your belly and your hips. And then bring the attention to your left hip. Taking that beautiful deep inhale. And then same again, pause at the top of the inhale. And then as you exhale, sense the entire left leg. Sensing the left leg and the foot. And no rush, but when you're ready, at the top of the next inhale, bring the attention to the right hip. Pause at the top of the inhale. And then as you exhale, sense the entire right leg. Sensing the entire right leg and your foot. And then same again. Next inhale, bring attention to both hips and pause at the top of the inhale. And then as you exhale, sense both legs and the feet. And the exhale's flowing down the legs through the soles of your feet. And you're just feeling the flow of the breath on both legs. And now sense your entire body, your legs, your torso, your arms, your hands, your head and your neck. And feeling the felt sense of the body and the space around the body. And see if you can let go of controlling your breath and find your body breathing itself. And then take a moment and notice where or how you might be at war with yourself. Maybe struggling against yourself in some way. Can you welcome your experience as it is? And that includes any self-judgments, and just allow yourself, if it feels right in this moment, to stop the war, to drop the fighting, the struggle, and allow yourself to be just as you are. Resting here, feeling again the felt sense of the body, resting on your mat, and your breath is gently flowing in and it's gently flowing out. Experience it just as it is. You just as you are. And as you rest here, take a moment and visualize yourself as you go about the rest of your day, maybe walking or eating or having conversations, going to bed. And see if you can picture yourself doing this from a place of letting go. How does it feel to imagine yourself moving through life from a place of ease and restfulness? And now slowly reorient to the felt sense of the body on your mat, on the surface it's resting upon. The breath and the senses are open, and you can bring a little bit of movement into the body. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe roll out through the ankles and the wrists, and maybe stretch the arms above the head. Let the arms fall behind the back of the head. Stretch it out through the legs. That can feel good. And then maybe just hug the knees in towards the chest. And then eventually, it's been a pretty relaxed class, so just roll over to one side. And then when you're ready, just push yourself up to a seated position and sit any way you want. You can always remain lying down. I ain't fussy. Sometimes, when the yoga teacher says, come out of Shavasana, it's kind of like, I don't want to come out of Shavasana, especially when it's been a little bit longer there, upwards of 10 minutes of just total relaxation. If you've got your blanket, just wrap it around yourself, make yourself really comfortable. Beautiful, everyone. Really nice work today. Bring the hands to heart center. And I will say this one today, just because it's kind of feels about right for today, for this time. Humbly bow your head down towards your prayer, if that feels good. Universe, put us in the places you want us to be, with the people you want us to be with, doing the things you want us to do. And thank you for the joys and the challenges of our lives. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining today. I really enjoyed teaching that class. I always enjoy teaching this class. It's a great class to teach. It feels a real honour to be able to teach people from the top of the country, right up in the north of Scotland, all the way down to the south, and in Wales, and in Ireland. It feels really good. And next week is, I think it's the Royal Voluntary Service Christmas party. Oh yeah, that's on Thursday. So I will be back here next Tuesday, and I think it's 2:30. I'm pretty sure it's 2:30. So 2:30 Tuesday, check out the timetable. There'll be a few changes next week. I look forward to practicing with you guys next Tuesday. We'll move a little bit next week. we will do those some salutations, which I promised we'd do at the start of this class. But sometimes we get into a little, rhythm, and we get into a mood. And today felt like it needed to be grounding, and hopefully that was all good for you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Look after yourselves. Take that beautiful, relaxed energy with you. Fantastic for getting onto your mat. And I'll see you all next week on Tuesday. All right. Namaste. Take care.